Hi, today I'm going to be doing my expressive language project for SLP 212. Today I'm going to be focusing on the concept of descriptive features. This concept is particularly important with children with expressive language disorder, as they tend to just point to things or use very nonspecific words such as that, thing, or this in order to describe what they mean or answer a question that you've asked them. This particular therapy idea would be best for children in grades 4 through 6. And we are going to start off the session by just talking about how important it really is to be descriptive. The reason that we use descriptive words is to describe a person, place, a thing, or an object in a way that creates a mental image in the listener's mind. So even in the moments where you can't think of the exact word for something, you can describe around it so that there's no confusion. The listener knows exactly what you're talking about. Let's use this as an example. What if I were to ask you to hand me that thing? Do you know what I'm asking you? No, I've used no descriptions, so you couldn't know what I'm asking you. What if I say, hand me that thing on the table? Well, there are a lot of things on this table. Which one am I talking about? How about, hand me the thing on the table that I can write with? I mean, you could hand me a bunch of things. I have a pen here, a pencil, crayons, markers. You might be wrong. Now, what if I say, hand me the thing that I can write with that has lead and an eraser? What am I talking about? A pencil. You understood that I was asking you about a pencil because I used many descriptive words. It's best to get really specific about the object, person, or thing so that the listener understands what you're talking about, even if in that moment you can't find the right word. Let's try looking at the game Guess Who. I've sorted all the people into piles in front of you based on one specific description. Can you tell me how I sorted them? I'm going to give the child or the client a moment to sift through them and look. So, here's my first pile. All the people, look similar. Here is my second pile. My third. Fourth. And last, fifth. They might say they're all sorted by hair color, and they would be correct. That is the correct that is the correct way that I divided them. I divided them all by that one descriptive feature. They all have the same hair color in each pile. So the first pile has white hair, the second has red, the third has blonde hair, the fourth has black, and the fifth has brown. Next, I'd allow the child to take a turn doing that same task. So I'd say, put them in a pile any way you'd like based on one descriptive feature. And I could say, I'm going to put them in a pile based on if they're wearing glasses or not, or if they are wearing a hat or not. And then we can move on to a bit more complex, like let's say based on two descriptive features. I say, put your little characters into piles based on two. They might say, this is a man wearing a hat, and this is a woman wearing a hat. Those are two very descriptive features that they could place their cards into, and then there would be the third pile, that people without hats altogether. And then once I feel like they have sort of understood that there are many different ways to describe the features of each of these people, we'd actually play the game. So I'd say we're going to play a round of Guess Who. Let's each pick a card. This card, let's say the child picks this card. This card tells you which character on the board I'm going to try to find by using descriptions of their appearance. And then I'm going to say, now I have a card as well. This is my card. My card is the person you are going to try to find by using descriptions of their appearance. Let's try to pretend one example. Let's choose this card. This is not either of our people, but if you had this card and I were trying to guess who it was, I might ask, does this person have brown hair? Do they have brown hair? No. I want to make sure I don't turn over the person. So I'm only going to flip over the people that have brown hair, because this person does not have brown hair. I turn over all the people who have brown hair because you have told me your person does not have brown hair. The people I turn over are not matches to the card in your hand. Now let's switch. Now I have this person, and you are trying to guess. What might you ask me? The child might say, does your person have a mustache? The answer is yes, the person has a mustache. Now you don't want to flip over anybody that has a mustache because I just told you that my person does have a mustache. Everyone that you've turned over doesn't have a mustache, and that means they aren't my person. And once I feel like the child sort of understands the rules of the game, we would continue to play. If the child seems to be struggling with that concept, or it's just a bit too hard, we could just focus again on like using visual cues. So let's say they're stuck on what to ask me. I could say, I could just be like this, ask me about this, or what about, or just visually prompt the child to find a question to ask. Or we could just continue that same sort of style where we both have the same card and we just go back and forth asking questions. There wouldn't be a definitive winner, but you'd get to describing a lot of things about the person. On the other hand, if a child is finding the task too simple, I could ask them to get very specific. Instead of, for instance, does your person have white hair, they would have to ask me, does your person have long white hair? That's using 2 descriptions instead of the 1 for a more advanced client. Yeah.